Okay. So what she do is she keeps the voicing, but she tries to break the chords with the voicing, the different notes that are in the voicing, that trying to combine that, don't play that simultaneously. Okay, so as you can see, like everyone, like the guitar, the piano, the bass, and the drums, we start from something very basic. That there is, everyone can show you that there is a simple pasillo, basic rhythm pattern. But the idea is to change that. And what is challenging is try to keep that rhythm, but try to play it in a different way. Try to make some variations and try to make the music more interesting. So, the structure. Okay, there's something when I was talking about what is general in this style from this region. Sometimes in this music, there are something that is very used in the structure. Most of the time, all the compositions are talking about traditional compositions, the traditional composers that went from the first half of the 20th century to the 70s, 80s maybe. Most of the time the tunes has three parts, three-part structure tunes, and there is something special about how these parts are organized. Sometimes you can play it like A, B, B, C, but it is not common. What is also is like jumping between the parts, like maybe playing A, B, come back to the A, C, and then come back to the A. It really is not a rule about that. You can change that, and it really depends on the arranger, what the arranger wants with the tune and what he wants to create. But it's something that is very common in many tunes, is how harmonically these parts are organized. So in most of the time, with the A section is in a minor mode, for example, D minor, and the tune that we are talking about and giving out the samples that the paradigm is in D minor. The first section is in D minor. The second part, the B section, sometimes is still in D minor, and sometimes goes to F major, so go to the relative major, and the last part, the C section, always goes to the parallel. So if the tune is in minor mode, at the end go to the major. If the tune is in minor mode, in major mode, excuse me, we go to the parallel minor. You will see this in many of the traditional compositions, this style. There is another way to how to combine the structure and talking about the harmony. Sometimes the A section is in a major mode, for example, D major, the B section will be also D major, and the last part will be in the subdominant area, maybe even major or minor. So, we are going to play a tune called El Perirano. I showed you the example before, play it by a traditional example. So here, we're going to listen. This tune has three parts. You will see that the first section is in minor mode, the B section keeps in minor mode, sometimes go to the relative. The last section is in the parallel mode, so in D major. You will see how especially listen to the last section, the C section, with the bass take more chances and he plays more outside of the regular rhythms, because then in that part he creates something different. And sometimes in the ensemble, talking about the woodwinds, the flute, and the soprano, always we try to create something like a contrapuntal approach between them, and sometimes me. Sometimes I play chords, sometimes I play melodies with them. So the tune is called El Perirano. The composer is Camilo Bedoya. So enjoy. Thanks. style of the Colombian Indian region is the bambuco. Is that you can see the pasillo is always, all the music is the eight notes are straight eight notes. There are many compositions, many pasillos that were composed thinking in showing the virtuosity of the bandola players. So many of the tunes are very fast and always like playing off the beat, while the bambuco is kind of different. The bambuco is more rhythmic, has more syncopation. It's different in that way. Also, there could be some bambucos that could be played fast, but the emphasis is more in the syncopation. So in the passage is more like, always it's like like a rush, like a canyon that could be sound like very straight and very loud. So the bambuco, as the pasillo will show you, what are the basic rhythms in the guitar and how we combine these rhythms in the sample. So the bambuco is written in 6/8, even some guys write it in 3/4. There are some controversy about that. Then Dario, our player, will tell you something more about that, the conflict between the 6 and the 3/8 writing. But we in Carrera Quinta we write it in 6/8. So the basic bambuco. This is the basic structure. This is what the guitar plays in the traditional ensemble. It's doing the same that in the pasillo, that's playing chords and some bass line. So the basic bass line is in the, you will see it's right there. So it will be like the basic bass line that Daniel would play, but obviously he will play some variations over that basic bass line. What the tiple plays, sometimes the people when write the tiple, you don't have to write all the voicings, just write what is the chord changes. Sometimes even they don't write this eight note that I write in there with the rhythm that are in the middle. Sometimes they just write the chords and say what is the rhythm that they're playing. If they are playing at a pasillo or a bambuco, because suppose that every tiple player must know which one of the rhythms, how the rhythms work in the instrument. But it will be the way how to write the tiple in the traditional ensemble. There is another rhythm variation that's in the last part. We always playing a 8-note rest at the beginning of each beat, so it will be like. Sometimes you can use it to make some variations, or sometimes you can use the dotted quarter. These are the rhythms that you could combine. So we are talking about in a Pedro wants to tell you in a simple way how the drums work in the bambuco.
So we play on 6/8, and with this type of syncopation, the one that you have in the middle, when you leave the first 8-note rest open, it gives the rhythm a little more air. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. And with this, like in the pasillo, you can play around with the nose, the accents, and the rest. Usually, bambuco music has drums, especially a bass drum called bombo, tambora, in which you play the rim and the head of the drum, just in pretty much the same way I showed you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Idea of the pasillo, having both same time, 6/8 but 3/4, and also having the idea of the 2 against 3 feel. When you hear this bass drum notes against the 6/8 pulse, the dotted quarter note pulse, it feels like a 2 against 3. So it's like displaced 2 against 3 because you leave that first eighth note rest. So that's the idea behind the pasillo. I played variations between rhythm and the drum itself. I replace sometimes the bass drum with the bass drum sound with this. Backwards. I replace this drum sound with the bass drum, and I use the rhythm, with the hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So I forget, Dario wanted to explain you something about well, we were talking about the 3/4 and the 6/8 in the bambuco.
Bueno, la idea es que el bambuco es una danza tradicional y es uno de los ritmos tradicionales de Colombia.
So bambuco is one of the traditional Andino region dances.
Tiene un aire realmente nostálgico y es un poco como para escuchar en su principio.
Sometimes more like nostalgic and more to listen at the beginning.
Pero también con el transcurso del tiempo, pues este ritmo que es tan escuchado y que tiene aires campesinos, ha invitado de alguna forma a bailarlo.
So at the beginning was more played in rural areas, but then begin to be more like used to dances.
Entonces ese bambuco tradicional, sí, tenemos que hablar de la estructura rítmica, de cómo se mide, como lo estaba tocando ahorita Pedro, y está ahí, en principio era un 3/4.
At the beginning, this rhythm structure were writing in 3/4.
Podríamos de pronto tocar un poco lo que hiciste y yo trato de medirlo en 3/4.
Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ese es muy distinto a lo que está acá, que también puede ser.
That is really very different from the 6/8. Really, the people that is using 6/8 is because sometimes it's easier to write and easier to recite the reading. Sometimes when you are reading in 3/4, sometimes it's more challenging, especially to read.
Hay bambuco, como explicaba antes, nostálgico, un poquitico de esa forma como lenta, pero también hay un bambuco fiestero. De por sí en Colombia hay una tradición anual de una fiesta del bambuco en el Huila, en una de las regiones del país.
Sometimes so, there are a bambuco that's very nostalgic, and also a bambuco that's called fiestero. Fiestero will be like for party, kind of. And there is always a meeting in one of in one region in Colombia, an annual region meeting from, call it what's the name? La festividad que viste.
La fiesta del bambuco, y es San Pedro y San Juan. Se llama sanjuanero realmente este bambuco fiestero, sanjuanero.
Okay, something that is related with the San Juan and San Pedro celebration in Colombia. So it's took place every year.
Pues quisiera finalmente como tocar ese ritmo del sanjuanero en las dos modalidades, con la ayuda de Pedro. Digamos que lo vamos a hacer como bambuco y la misma melodía, después la vamos a hacer fiestero.
So sometimes this bambuco fiestero is called also San Juanero. So Dario will play that bambuco with Pedro.
Un poquito. Bambuco. sanjuanero, que es realmente el mismo bambuco.
So right now they play the San Juanero style or the Paris style.
Bueno, en este punto es importante aclararles que la música de la región andina colombiana no tiene improvisación.
So all these styles in the traditional way are not improvised at all. So like in any jazz standard, and when you have the chance to play a solo with the chords, with the changes that are in the tune, in the traditional performances is not used at all in the music from the Andina region.
Y ahorita pues, los músicos tradicionales quieren mantener su música, sus estructuras lo más cercano posible a la tradición.
So sometimes the traditional performers, composers, arrangers, right now, they are trying to keep this music in the traditional way.
Entonces, por eso, a veces cuando surgen propuestas nuevas, están un poco escépticos al recibirlas porque ellos creen que de alguna otra forma están pasando por encima de su música.
So sometimes when new people come to play this music in a different way, sometimes they don't receive that in a good way because they want to preserve that in the way that they used to play that. So they don't like when someone new come and play their music, the way how he was playing this music in a different way. They don't like that.
Entonces, ha sido de gran importancia para nosotros el tener una gran aceptación por parte de ellos, porque la idea de nosotros no ha sido coger la música colombiana y ponerla al lado del jazz y ya, sino ha sido conocerla, entenderla claramente cómo funciona, respetarla ante todo y ahí sí involucrarle los elementos que todos tenemos en nuestra formación musical.
So even there are some composers, performers that they don't like. Sometimes they don't are open to new performances, practicing this music. Even that we have been lucky, and some of these composers and writers have been received in a good way what we are doing. But Francis said that it has happened because we have from the starting when we started to do that, what we did at the beginning was try to understand this music in the traditional way. So try to learn the history, try to understand and play this music in how we must play it in the traditional way. Because the idea was, if we want to change something, learn from the tradition, do some research, go to the library, take some private lessons with the traditional performers, the composers, and then once you have understood that in the traditional way, you can change something.
Okay. Por eso entonces siempre que tocamos temas tradicionales, los hacemos sin improvisación.
That's why when we play when we write an arrangement of a traditional tune, we don't improvise in that kind of tunes. We do improvise in the tunes that in our original tunes we improvise in that kind of tunes.
Y una forma de acercarnos, por eso dentro del repertorio de Carrera Quinta van a encontrar temas tradicionales que no están improvisados, temas compuestos de nosotros que empiezan a explorar armónicamente la forma, tratan de salirse un poco, agregando más compases a la forma de 16 o colocando tensiones como les mostré yo anteriormente.
So sometimes if you go to a Carrera Quinta performance, you will listen some traditional tunes with the approach that we explained before, then trying to keep the rhythm in the traditional sound in a different way. Some of our original tunes, when we try to make some variations about the basic structures, sometimes we don't keep the basic structure, the three-part structure. Sometimes we do something different, maybe two-part structures or longer sections. Sometimes make some changes in how the regular harmony progressions are in the traditional compositions, and also improvising in some of our tunes. Okay, so that's all. Okay, so okay. So, we're going to play a traditional bambuco, that was the style that we were talking about. The tune is called El Optimista. The composer is León Cardona. León Cardona is one of the most important and influential composers in the music from the Andina region. Every ensemble in the tradition that plays this music plays a León Cardona tune, everyone. He writes beautiful melodies, so this tune is called Optimista. Always the tunes that he writes, the name reflects something about what he was doing or what he was thinking in that moment. El Optimista means optimist, so imagine what he was thinking or what he was feeling in that moment. It's a beautiful tune, it's called El Optimista. Thanks.